Even if you're not into ballet, chances are you know the name Guillaume Côté. Today, after more than 26 years, Guillaume takes the National Ballet stage for his final time. It's honestly hard to take stock of all of his achievements, but today, we're gonna try. The group chat is here. Let's get into it. I'm Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion. I'll tell you this, I don't have a deep knowledge of ballet or anything, but I have been lucky enough to see Guillaume on stage, and I went with people who do know ballet well. And they taught me to specifically what to look for Guillaume's mix of technical perfection and artistry, and how even on a stage filled with so many dancers, there's all these ways that he stands out. He's made some of the most iconic roles feel fresh. I'm thinking here of his leads in Swan Lake and The Nutcracker and Romeo and Juliet. And also, for more than a decade, he's worked as a choreographer. He's won awards for that work that he's created as well. To reflect on the career that Guillaume has had and what he's given to Canadian dance, we have two people who know him well, who've worked with him for a long time. Anissa Tejbar is a choreographer and an associate producer with Côté Dance. She's been friends with Guillaume since childhood. And Greta Hodgkinson is a former principal dancer and artist in residence with the National Ballet of Canada, and she's dancing in Guillaume's last ever performance at the ballet tonight. Anissa, Greta, welcome to Commotion.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi. I'm glad that you're both here. Anissa, let me start with you. You met Guillaume when you were both 11 years old. Tell me that story.
It's actually that's a cute story, knowing now what we know about our relationship. But we were 11. We were at Canada's National Ballet School. I was already a student there, and then he came in the 7th grade from Métabetchouan-Lac-à-la-Croix, Quebec, a place I had never heard of. But he spoke zero English, zero. And because I was the only kid in our class who had previously gone to French immersion, I was the ideal candidate to be his buddy, so to show him around, translate for him. You can imagine an 11-year-old girl that's not ideal to have a new guy now who doesn't speak English as your buddy, and you got to go around everywhere with him and show him where everything is. But to be honest, it was the best way to become friends. We've been friends ever since. And in 6 months, he spoke perfect English, so he didn't need me anymore. You know what I mean? So, but there started our relationship.
That's a beautiful way to start. Be like, oh, I got to take care of this guy. All right, fine. I guess I'll have to do it. If I must, I'll do it. Look how that turned out. Turned out okay, I think. Greta, let me ask you. You were 11 years old when you moved to Canada to attend the National Ballet School. That's the same age that Guillaume moved here from Lac Saint Jean. You both grew up to become principal dancers with the National Ballet. So you logged a lot of hours together. Tell me, I'm a little bit curious. What's he like to dance with? You know, what's the thing that sets him apart?
Well, I would say he's an extremely generous partner. He's really generous. He's a fantastic dance partner. Just his partnering skills are amazing. But he's also got so much energy, and he gives so much on stage, and he gives so much to his partners that it's really wonderful, and you sort of feed off each other. There's a lot of trust there, obviously dancing for so many years, but he's very, very generous.
What I really enjoyed watching there is the way that both of you are sort of nodding at the same kind of moment. And we were talking about this just before we went live, because Anissa sort of finished a sentence with just hand gestures, and Greta was like, yeah, totally understand what that means. Yeah. But for those of us who have not danced, let alone danced with Guillaume, when you say fantastic partnering skills, what does that mean to you, Greta? What does that mean?
Well, he understands where the ballerina's weight needs to be. He's really, he's strong in lifting. He's just got a very, and a lot of those things, that sort of innate ability to partner it's hard to teach. I mean, you can teach the technique, but the feel, if you will, of where the dancer needs to be off balance, on balance, he's very talented in that way as well.
So Guillaume's talked about the fundamental truth that hits home for every professional dancer, which is at a certain point, your body just can't do it, just can't take it anymore. Here's what he told our pal Tom Power on cue.
You know, I guess in dance, when you're I'm retiring, people are always going, oh, is it because you're aging and this and that? And I feel younger than ever. The only thing is my knees. I guess if you took an X-ray of inside my knee joints, that's probably where I show most of my age, because the classical form, as beautiful and as incredible as it is, it's incredibly demanding on the body.
I enjoyed Anissa doing this. Was this your knees? Is that what
The
that
lack
was?
of cartilage. The
There's
lack
no
of cartilage.
space.
You
It's
push
really
two
one.
fists together, and you're like, that's what a
it.
knee then kind of becomes. Greta, when you hear that, you've been through this. You get it on a level I think like like very few of us could. He made the decision to retire. He's doing the show now, saying goodbye after 26 years at the National Ballet. What are the emotions you think that he's experiencing right now?
Oh, well, you sort of run the gamut really. And
Mm,
everybody processes this moment and this time differently,
mm,
but from my experience, I would say it's really bittersweet. I think when you're ready to get to this milestone and you're being showered with so much love and appreciation, and it's very overwhelming. And then to also be performing. But I think just really you just sort of you do every show, and I think it really only hits you afterwards
mm.
because you're in performance mode. We all have our routines, we're all giving it and leaving it all out on the stage, and I think that the enormity of this moment and of this time really comes after the fact.
I enjoyed watching you wince a little bit, Anissa, when you sort of heard Guillaume talk about his knees. What was that reaction? What was going on there?
Well, I just know him so well.
Hmm.
So, and I know my own knees, and we're not as young as we once were.
Hmm.
So you feel for your friend and you feel for your colleague and the impact that this career has on your physical self.
Hmm.
Not even to kind of jump into what it does to your emotional self, like Greta was just talking about the overwhelming kind of thing of it all. It's a strange job. You go out in front of thousands of people and you show them what you got and you give them a part of yourself, and
Hmm.
then your knee hurts so that it takes you out, and
Right.
we all kind of those of us who have been on stage and lucky enough to live in this career, I think we all can like lean into that and feel it too.
Well, let's talk about the other part of his career for a moment, Anissa, because he's been a choreographer for a while, and he did not start choreography as sort of a transitional step out of dance. He did it at the peak. He started at the peak of his career. He started, more than a decade ago. When you think about Guillaume as a choreographer, what's the thing? What's the thing that sort of he's trying to do with choreography?
That's a great question, because I think when you've been an interpreter like he has for so many years, so
Hmm.
he's danced in all of these like, major choreographers' works. He's done canon of choreography, like you mentioned, from like the Swan Lakes, the Giselles, the Sleeping Beauties that have lasted way longer than our lifetimes. They've been there.
Yeah.
He's done them all. And, like I said, every major choreographer has worked with him around the world. When you are the vessel for someone else's ideas, when you are the interpreter of someone else's concepts, vibes, weird brain like pattern, at
Yeah.
some point you think to yourself, what if it was my ideas?
Mm.
What if it was coming from me? What if I was the source of what we were making, and then I had these wonderful artists in front of me interpreting me? Now, the way I put it, I think maybe sounds egotistical, but it's not, because ultimately the more you interpret, the better you get at creating.
Right.
And with Guillaume, because he has able to achieve such milestones in his career as a performer, it felt so logical for those of us who knew him. Like it was not a surprise when he started creating work. His mind is a fast moving, always inspired. This man doesn't stop. His brain is
Mm.
going. And it only felt natural for him to like, put pen to paper, to explode onto other people and to show what he has. It's vulnerable, it's courageous, it's
Hmm.
hard to make work. But I think because of the type of person that he is, the experience that he's had, the wealth of knowledge he has in the medium, he's like the ideal candidate to make
Well, I
the
was gonna say,
thing.
like, to me, like Anissa,
Mhm.
like the analogy here is like if you're the first chair violinist and you say, what I want to do is compose, and that's not every first chair violinist wants to do that, right? Some of them are like, I would
Totally.
like to play the music that's been handed to me and play it to the best of my abilities, but every once in a while you get one that says, I think I have a different take on this. I think I want to take this in a different direction. When you think about Guillaume, you said, his mind moves so fast. So was it always
Mhm.
kind of apparent that he was going to eventually move in this direction as well?
Yeah, well, remember, Guillaume is one of those people who it's hard to take, but he's good at everything. It's really, he's good at music. He sings,
That's
he plays
infuriating.
instruments.
I don't like
It's
him. I've never met him,
infuriating.
but I don't
No,
like him
it
anymore.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. It's horrible for
Yeah.
those of us around him. It's horrible.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm kidding, but
Yeah,
yeah,
of
he
course.
plays music. He picks up an instrument. He can figure it out. He when he immerses himself into something, he does it with 100% of himself. So there is no stone unturned. There is no question left unanswered. He is constantly asking. He is constantly wondering. It never kind of ends. So he's just got that kind of, it's a personal thing. Not like you say, not every person is made to make, but for him, it's so part of who he is. He can't stop it. It's a train on fire going forward.
So today, Greta, you're going to be on stage with Guillaume this evening in Grand Mirage, which is the work that he choreographed as part of his sort of final slate of performances. He created this character specifically for you, and I just want to read the way that he described it in an interview with our pal Ashley Murphy in the Globe and Mail. He says your character, and I'm quoting here, embodies a Faustian bargain of fame, the mirage of this job. Dancers all think the next show will make us happy. The next show will be our big breakthrough. It's kind of exhausting. It's like being in a desert. You're chasing a mirage that just keeps getting away from you. And that's kind of how I felt a lot of my career. When you listen to that, Greta, how do you understand that and sort of take that concept and then bring it to life on stage?
Yeah, I mean, as live performers, we are in the show and then the show is over. There's nothing to hold on to. It's not tangible. So there's always this, when you're sort of chasing that high, like that's why we do this, right? Is to be on stage and to be performing. So there's always like, when's the next show? And then I'm going to feel fulfilled. And you do feel fulfilled for that moment, but then it's over. And so that sense of like, I can really relate to what he's talking about. And so, yeah, I mean, he did share those thoughts with me when he was talking about the character. And I think that, as a performer, I can just really relate to it as well. So it's, yeah, it really is that kind of chasing, and you think, oh, when's the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it's exhausting, but it's why we do it. Like we get so fulfilled and so happy and so feel so whole when we're on stage and performing, but it is over and then it's gone. It's quite fleeting.
Yeah, that idea of fleetingness is one thing for you to be there as a performer, sort of experience that fleetingness. I imagine something changes about that, Anissa, if you're the one who's choreographing the steps. I imagine that something changes about, maybe it's not quite permanence, but maybe it has a bit more of a staying power. What do you think changes when you're the one choreographing the steps?
Well, there's more to work on. There's more to see. So when you're in it, you're in it. You're watching, you're experiencing your experience. There's a moment that happens when you get to the theater, when you get to the stage, where it becomes the artist's. And it's your job now to not only execute, but to interpret, to be present, to be there for your partners. But when you create something, you get to experience it with the public. You get to experience it. The work that Guillaume does with Côté Danse, our company that we have together with Etienne Lavigne, is like, it's like an experiment. You're watching different types of ideas on stage play out, and you're feeling what everyone else feels. There's an outside of body experience. It's yours until it's not. And there's a beautiful thing about that. There's a legacy about that. It feels long. It feels far. And that's nice, as opposed to it being, like Greta said, over.
Being able to sort of like take the long view, at least for a moment, and actually get to take that in. Greta, what's going to be going through your mind on stage, you think, tonight?
Well, definitely when I'm on stage and when I'm doing what I'm doing and when we're dancing together, I'm in the moment and I'm not thinking about any of the the other emotional things. I think it'll be a really special evening. But yeah, I think, I have my routine that I do when I perform, and it really is going to be, I don't want to say like every other show. Obviously, it's a special performance, but my job is to be in the moment and to I just want to enjoy every moment out there.
Anissa, you met him at 11 years old. Today, you'll watch him take the final bow of his career. What do you think that's going to be like for you?
Oh, I'm gonna cry, Elamin.
It's okay.
It's going to be big, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very mixed. I think I'm going to feel intense pride for my friend. I think I'm going to feel sadness that I won't see him on that stage anymore and that he won't have that experience. I'm also going to feel excited about our next chapter. We premiere a show tomorrow with Côté Danse. So he literally finishes as a performer tonight.
Yeah.
We all are going to, celebrate that. And tomorrow we celebrate our next chapter with his show called Burn Baby Burn. So the page is flipping quickly. So I'm going to feel excited as well about this next chapter and our new journey together and everything that's yet to come from Guillaume Côté.
You know, if it was me, I would have taken a weekend off before doing that. You know what I mean? But that's just
Totally.
Retirement. Yeah,
Totally. Yup.
Yeah.
I agree. But here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, I'm retiring tomorrow. I get to work on the next thing. No,
right.
not me, but Guillaume Côté, of course. But not all of us can do that. I really appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Yes, of course. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
Anissa Tejabar is a choreographer and associate producer with Côté Danse, Guillaume Côté's dance company. And Greta Hodgkinson is a former principal dancer and current artist in residence at the National Ballet of Canada. She's dancing in Guillaume's last ever performance with the ballet tonight. I'm Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion. Look, on the show, we've talked a lot about AI and how it's getting better and better and better at creating texts or images that seem human-made. But I even with all the conversation, still wasn't prepared for the latest version of Google's VO, which came out last month. It can generate 8-second long videos that are impressively and terrifyingly realistic looking. The one that I saw was this video of people talking at a car show, talking about the cars that are behind them and be like, I think this is the right car for my family. And if I didn't know ahead of time that this was an AI creative video, I just would have thought these people are very excited to be at this car show. And I was terrified by this concept. And of course, this raises all kinds of other concerns, right, about this idea of the presence of deepfake videos taken to a next level. Kyle Orland, though, noticed something interesting happening on TikTok after Google launched this new version of VO. TikTokers, real people pretending to be AI. I want to talk about this. Kyle, welcome to the show, friend.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Nice to have you here. Okay, we're going to get to the people pretending they're AI in a minute, but maybe let's just root ourselves in just like how wildly realistic these videos are. Talk to me about this new version of VO, VO 3.0, because I think the 2.0 came out 6 months ago. So the idea that they have a new one now already is wild to me. Talk to me about, your reaction to seeing the new videos that come out of VO.
Yeah, the pace of advancement is really wild in this space. I don't remember if you remember like 1 or 2 years ago when the first AI videos were coming out, and there was this video of like Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it just looked like a horror show, like things going all over the place, and no one really could mistake this for real Will Smith. And now, as you said, with VO3, if you look at one of these videos and you don't know that it's a real creation, it takes some really fine-tuned looking to figure out that there's not a real person in there. So in 6 more months, who knows where we're going to be with this. They keep throwing a lot of money and computing power at this. It's going to get pretty scary out there.
Well, particularly because TikTok has kind of trained me to just go to observe the first 4 to 5 seconds of a video to be like, do I want to watch the rest of this or not? And so the idea that these videos are 8 seconds long, you will be tricked. You will absolutely fall for it. But that's not what you started noticing. You started noticing the other thing, which is real human beings doing the thing where they pretend to be AI. And that is surprising, I think, to anybody involved. What's going on there?
So it was interesting. So I was just scrolling TikTok and, I'd seen a bunch of these AI videos and I was like, wow, this AI can really do realistic stuff now. And then I saw another one and it was like, 100% AI generated. I can't believe AI created this band or something. And so I watched, I was like, the first few seconds I was like, okay, wow, this is another example of a real good thing. And then it kind of kept going. And about, 10, 15 seconds in, I was like, wait a minute, is this just a real band playing? And they put a caption up saying, I can't believe AI created a band. And then I looked into it and it was this band Congos, which you might remember had a hit Come With Me Now a long time ago, and I looked, and this was just a 9-year-old song of theirs that they were, playing in a living room or something.
Yeah.
And they had put the AI thing over it, and they got me. That AI caption made me be like, oh, I gotta watch this.
I guess they must be AI art. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It made me stop scrolling long enough to actually listen to the song and consider it. And once I figured it out, I was like, well, now I like this song. That's it worked. It got my attention. I'm
alarmed by this. I'm alarmed by the idea that like we are at a place where we want. I'm alarmed by what this says about our relationship to AI right now, and I want to get to that in just a second. But I hear there's another example that you didn't quite have room for in the article that you wrote about this for Ars Technica. What was the other example?
Oh yeah. I also, I found a lot of music videos and things promoting like this, probably seeing other people do it and be like, oh, I can jump on that bandwagon. And then I saw one for a realtor who was like, he started off the video, was like, can you believe that I was created by a prompt? You should really stop. And he was going by a stop sign. He said, stop and pay attention. And then he was like, and then a few seconds later, he was like, no, I'm not actually an AI creation, but you should buy, properties. If you're in the area, come to me and I can help you with my listing. And I was like, this is getting a little weak. It's one thing to have a song and like, oh yeah, listen to my song after you think it's AI. But this was kind of kind of a bargain basement advertising thing, I felt.
Kyle, what does this tell you? What does this tell you about the ways that we're thinking about AI or maybe relating to AI in a different way right now?
It's interesting because on TikTok, like you said earlier, you really have like 4 or 5 seconds at most to grab someone's attention, and then it's just a flick to go up. And so it's really the novelty right now of VO that I think is grabbing people's attention. The fact that you can't in 4 or 5 seconds necessarily tell what's real and what's not. Mm-hmm. People are exploiting this to make you stick around. There was one engagement hack I found where people would put up, 2 videos or 4 videos and say, one of these is real and 3 of these are VO creations, for instance. And I would watch these when I was doing this article. I'd watch them over and over. And I'd be like, they're all VO creations. And I'd be like, oh wait, maybe that one is not. Yeah. And then I've looped the video 5 or 6 times, and the algorithm has got me. They think I love this stuff. I want to watch it over and over again.
And you get more and more of it. You're just observing. Yeah, but you're trying to figure out what it is.
I'm just figuring it. I'm just trying to figure this out. And I think that's going to last for a while, but the novelty is going to wear off. And I think in 3 months, if people are still trying to pull this hack, I think commenters are going to be like, this again, come on, move on, do something new.
Buddy, I'm way past novelty. I'm well into anxiety at this point, because I do think that there is something foreboding about what is sort of, maybe can lead us down. Because again, like VO3 just came out, but the last iteration of this, it wasn't like, it was like, oh, we'll do one of these every 3 years. It was 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And the notion that you would need to update it because you're like, no, we've come really far in just this brief period of 6 months. Like, what does it mean that we're going to see 6 months from now? Or, I don't know, maybe even sooner? It could just get faster at this.
Yeah, so right now, it's the main limitations are, one, that they can only do 8-second clips on the public version. And I think that's going to expand after a while as, the computing efficiency gets better. Yeah. And 2 is that it's kind of expensive right now. You need to be subscribed to one of the higher end Google AI plans, and then you might have to buy extra credits. Generating an 8-second video, I think, can cost $2 to $3 American, roughly, is the conversion I saw. So it's not the kind of thing where, like ChatGPT, you can just go on the free version and generate decent text. We're not quite there yet, but as efficiency comes down and as this gets better and better, it's going to be the kind of thing that people can generate, for close to free on the iPhone in their pocket. And at that point, we're going to really be into the deep doubt era, is what we've been terming it, where even real things that you see, you're going to doubt whether or not they were AI creations. And that's the real scary part. It's not the fake things that you think are real. It's the real things that you can no longer take as real, because there's a possibility that someone could easily create something that, before would take a lot of CGI or, months or weeks of effort.
Kyle, I tell you I'm anxious, and you tell me that the deep doubt era is coming. I really appreciate this, pal. I really appreciate this. I appreciate your
I'm sorry. I wish I had better news.
That's quite all right. Kyle, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
Yes, of course. Kyle Orland is a senior gaming editor at Ars Technica. He's in Silver Spring, Maryland. That is it for the show today. But listen, before I go, I just want to congratulate Maya Desjardins in Kitchener, Ontario. She won our giveaway, our signed copy of Sophie Gilbert's new book, Girl on Girl, How Pop Culture Turned a Generation of Women Against Themselves. Maya, you are going to love that book, man. It's so great. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This is Commotion. We'll be back tomorrow. See you then.